Well, good morning. Welcome back. Have I got something exciting in store for you? So, the next 4 episodes, we're going to be covering the language arts. I'm going to be covering a challenge and a task or an idea that I think will help your homeschool next year. And lastly, or not in that order though, I'm going to cover products that I think are super helpful to the homeschool mom. So, let's get started. So first off, I want to introduce you to, before we do the 1, 2, 3, which is the challenge, and then we do the products, and then we do the deep dive into a specific language arts curriculum or question. Let's talk free resource. So a woman reached out to me about her preschool program, and it's awesome. So I went in there because it's free to go in and you can try out, like the first series I did was farm. So with your preschooler, essentially, I don't have a preschooler anymore, but I wish I had this for when he was a preschooler, and I wish he had this for older kids as well. Because what it is essentially is she's your teacher for an hour a day, 4 days a week. And so this week the theme was farms. And so you get to see a lot of cool songs about farms and go see a farm and what a farm looks like. And then it comes with a craft that's easy to do. So like the first day you're making the barn, and then the next 3 days you're making animals that go in the barn. And the materials are easy to track down, that's for sure, because it's like construction paper, things like that, and things you print off. And next, then there's some books that you can get from the library if you want to add that in. So I just think that that is a really cool way. Furthermore, there's also, so it corresponds with a letter because it's actually like preschool for I want to say each lesson's 30 minutes a day, and the videos, and they're very interesting. Anyway, I would take a look at it. I'm going to put a link in the description, and I put the name of it on the screen, and I just think it's fun to do. Like if you have a preschooler, spending that time with them, I think it'd be entertaining and fun. And then there's letters and worksheets that correspond to it if you want to do those. So yeah, very cool idea, and it's free, so why not check it out? Okay, so let's talk to day 1. We are talking planning today. So number 1, the advice is, all right, so I have a few different ways you can plan your homeschool, and I'm going to share them with you, and you take what you like, because maybe this will help you planning for next year. So the first way people plan is, the way I plan, which is I take my top 3 curriculums or top 3 subjects, and then I have the bottom, like the next 3 to 6 items. Okay, so for example, the top 3 is math, language arts, and science. And so math and language arts we do every day, and science, say we do every Friday, we deep dive into it, just to do full immersion. But beyond that, at breakfast time, we're gonna talk about a secondary subject. So those will be geography, those will be history, those are, read alouds that we can do, and things like that. So planning your most important subjects and then your secondary subjects, which are important but not as important to you as primary subjects. So another way you can plan is you could do reverse planning. So if you need to keep track to submit of everything or every day that you have done schooling, do reverse planning. So get a planner, and every time you do school, mark down what you guys did. But even remember that even if you're baking or you're cooking or you're on a nature walk or you're discussing school, that counts, or discussing world and life, that still counts. And so you can jot it down in the planner and count it as school. Another thing you could do is you can chunk your day. So for example, the first 20 to 30 minutes in your day, some people call it a morning basket, some people call it morning menus, some people do, I do breakfast books, but essentially what it is, so what that means to me is I do it while you're eating, but it can be poetry, manners, read alouds, prayer, Bible study, affirmations, word of the day, artist, music artist, or art artist of the day. You know those cards I've showed you a variety of times. Same with in the art program, in the art video I did, I showed you a bunch of cards about different artists and things like that. So you could also use those and pull those out. When they're little, I think it's important to do emotions and talk about, I used to have a big poster, and I would hold it up because we used to do circle time in the beginning when they were really little. And I would say, okay, point out, what are you feeling? And I would go through the emotions, happy, sad, angry, upset. What are you feeling right now? Just to work on identifying emotions. If you do not want codependent children, which no one does. Codependent children, if you have codependent children, they're at higher risk for addictions. They are at higher risk to be put in bad relationships. And one of the reasons that people go down those roads is that they are denying their emotions. They're pushing their emotions away. They don't want to deal with their emotions, when in reality, emotions won't hurt us. So asking your kids throughout the day, what are you feeling? And work on getting them to identify their emotions. Like when they're really little, saying, or not that little, saying, gosh, you sound so mad. You're angry that happened. you know, and things like that, without the judgment of, you shouldn't be angry. No, you can, it's okay to experience these emotions. You can't hurt people, but it's okay to experience emotions. Emotions cannot hurt you. And check in with yourself throughout the day too. There's this saying that my stepson always says, which is pause, feel it, get on with your day. Okay, so next up, you can do loop planning. So for example, every day you do language arts and math. So every day you do language arts and math, and then you have a loop schedule, which means you have geography, you have history, you have, what else will be on there? Science, you have Latin, whatever subject you have on there. And then so you go Monday, Tuesday, so you do history, math, and then you pick up, and then you do a subject. So then you start at the top one. So that it keeps kind of looping around and you just keep doing the loop. Another way you could plan is one of my favorite ways that I'm gonna use when the kids are a little older, and that is to list everything in a notebook for them for the week. Like, hey, you need to do pages, you know, you need to cover 3 math units. Like, try not to overstress yourself and be like page 45 to 25. If you can help it, just do, you need to cover 3 math lessons this week. So math lesson 1, math lesson 2, math lesson 3, and then have them check it off when they're done. So just have everything in the notebook, and then it's their responsibility to do, and by the end of the week, it's gotta be done. So just creating that independence and that responsibility and taking the pressure off you and putting it on them. And what do you do if they don't do it? If they don't do it, if they come to you and they will, and they say, Mom, I want a ride. Mom, I want my allowance money. Mom, I want whatever it is. They will ask you for something. Mom, I want to borrow this. Mom, I want to do this. Hey, sure, let's just see how far you've done in that book. Let's just see how far you've gone. And if it's so far down that they haven't, be like, well, I need to at least see progress. I need to at least see a couple days done before we work on that. Because I totally want you to do that. I am on your side. I definitely want you to have what you want. But I also need you to get educated. And I also need you. So is there a reason? Is there a reason that you're not able to do this? What is the reason? Remember, you are on their side. If they cannot complete something, why can't they? Don't do it in an angry way. What do you think is stopping you from completing it? What is the difficult part of this? Because maybe it's handwriting. Maybe they have a handwriting problem, or it can seem overwhelming in that particular part. You have to work and talk with them and figure out why. Remember, no matter what, you are on their side. You want to see them become a successful part of society. And that is your job, is to help facilitate that. Okay, next up we got, this is what I used to do when they were really younger, a binder system. And you can do it at any age, but essentially what you do is, so it was a lot easier when they were really young, because you have all those little books, those workbooks, and you pull pages out of the workbook, and I would put it into a basket. So I would have, you know, one child's basket here, another child basket here, whatever, however many children you have the baskets. And these are the stuff you want them to do. So you would pull out pages of math you want them to do, pages of science you want to cover, and things like that. And as they do it, you hole punch it and you put it into the binder, and there's a record of their work. So it's a binder system is what I used to do. And I used to love it. I used to think it was so fun to sit down and go through all the books and pull them out. But now it's just a lot easier and less time consuming if I just open the book from where we left off and we do that. Now I do have, so for example, for the primary subjects that I do, that's what I do. I just open it up and we pick up where we left off. The secondary subjects, I need to get a little more creative, so I could do a binder system. All right, we are on to part two of this new series, which is, I'm gonna show you some products for the mom. For the mom, these are products that have helped me. Please keep in mind that A, I'm not a nurse, B, I'm not a doctor. I am nothing close to either one of those. No medical training at all whatsoever. I'm just gonna tell you problems I had and what helped me. Look at this guy. This is an exfoliant mitt. Oh. You get like 4 of them in a pack for like $1. 4 of them. I use them every time I shower. This is my exfoliant on my face. This is like my face cleaner. It is, I think it's great. It works, you can use it on any part of your body, and it's washable. I throw it in the wash, I use it again. I mean, you use it for a while. You don't wash it like every time you take a shower. And then I just hang it over my shampoo bottle to dry. And then the next time I get in there, I exfoliate my face, fully my legs, my arms, whatever I want, and then rinse it off in the shower, put it back up there. And after like a week or whatever, I toss it into the wash and I could use it again. So highly recommend it. I think it's inside out. Highly recommend it. I think it's great. Second product. This, have you ever seen this? This is all natural progesterone cream. This is not hormone cancer causing anything. All natural progesterone cream, meaning there are no hormones in here. Let me tell you a little story about life. After you hit age 35, your progesterone starts dropping, which FYI, no one told me. And then I hit 40 and I could not sleep. Every time I shut my eyes, I would jolt awake. I would get like 10 minutes, and I had 2 young babies that I had to take care of, plus a stepson, and I was freaking out. Completely freaked out. My husband had to put the kids to bed at night. He had to lay with the kids all night. He had to take care of them all night because I needed just small modicums of sleep. It was a very stressful time. I was screaming at people, at my children and my husband, and I didn't want to be that person. I'm not that person. I didn't want to be that person. I kept researching, like what is wrong, trying to figure it out. I had a doctor's appointment booked. I was like, let him run blood work. There must be something. And then I discovered online, I don't know how I discovered, but I was like, I have low progesterone. That is as soon as you hit 35, your progesterone starts dropping. While I waited for the blood test, I went down to Vitamin Shoppe or Amazon, get it either places. I'll put a link in the description, the kind I like, but there's a variety of them out there. And I put it on. So now I do not try things lightly. I am not one of those people that will try anything. In some aspects of my life, absolutely. But when it comes to pills and things I put in my body, pills, food, things like that, no, I don't. But when you're desperate, you're desperate. And I remember rubbing some on my wrists, and that night, I slept for 45 minutes at a time, 45-minute increments, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is unbelievable. And the next night, I managed to sleep for like an hour and a half. And by, a couple days later, I was sleeping again through the night. Okay, so if you have insomnia, if you have heavy periods, if you are screaming at people and think it's their fault that you're yelling at them, if you can't get pregnant, these are a lot of things that people using this have found helpful. Okay, now again, it's up to you to go to get tested if you want to get. I went and got tested and I was right. That's what it was. So that's how I know. But I was desperate enough that I tried it anyway. And that was the only thing they found wrong with me was low progesterone. And it just shows you how much it can mess with you, like how much it can detox your whole life. Now here's the thing, you can't use it every day. It's like any vitamin or supplement, you have to take like the weekend off to let your body reset, because whatever vitamin or supplement you take for whatever reason, that reason will come back if you take too much. So if you have too little, if you have too much, your body won't like it. You need a specific amount. I've studied health for like 20 years. So that I know, that I can tell you from personal experience that is true. So you can either take it, take it 4 days a week and then take the weekends off. I just take it at night. You're supposed to take it twice a day. I just take it at night. And then if I wake up in the middle of the night, like this morning, I was up at 2:30 in the morning, because that's the thing too. If you have low progesterone, sometimes you'll just wake up real early, and then I just put some back on, and it takes about an hour maybe, and then I'll fall asleep. It does not make you sleepy though. Like during the day, there's no like hangover of, oh my gosh, this made me tired, because it's not a pill. It gives you, if you don't have enough progesterone, you don't have enough energy. And so it just regulates you. That's all it does. It's made with like sweet potato. Like it doesn't really have anything in it, yams and stuff like that. So that is just a product that I heavily, heavily recommend. And again, what you can do is if you have a period, you don't take it during your period. Or if you don't have a period or your period's unsure of, you stop when your period comes, or you take it, like you take the weekends off, things like that. So, because you don't want it to build up too much in your system. But once again, as soon as you start jolting awake at night, you may know why. Okay, so the question of the day is, dun dun dun, IEW structure or style? Like, what do I think of the PAL program? PAL is the Primary Arts and Language program from IEW, structure and style, or there's Brave Writer. Generally, what I have noticed in the world is that people either go one way or the other. They go structure and style, the PAL program, or they go Brave Writer. It depends. Let me tell you about the two. Okay, so if you want grammar, you want to work on grammar, you want to work on sentence structure, you want to work on printer and writing, you're going to go structure and style. If you want to work on creativity and fostering that with a more Charlotte Mason copy work, and then fostering the creativity and getting the writing flowing, you're going to go Jot from an Arrow, those programs from Brave Writer. I don't recommend the Brave Writer book, and Quill is amazing. Quill's really expensive, but again, the main program that you would need to help foster creativity and have ideas for the creativity would be the Brave Writer Jot, the Brave Writer Arrow, the Brave Writer, and it goes up as they get older. Now, if you're looking for, now not to say that PAL doesn't eventually get into the creativity, but where Brave Writer believes it's important to foster that first, PAL fosters structure first. So it depends on what you are looking for. Another alternative of what you can do, is you could essentially do handwriting without tears, which I've shown you through those books again, and then do the Brave Writer and work on the creativity and getting stories out and work on the retellings and the copy work, and then switch to IEW with the Fix-It Grammar and go into more, let me show you in Fix-It Grammar here. Come on down to my floor. So, Fix-It Grammar, this is the, I wanted to save it. So this is the teacher's manual. So it does go through all this stuff like nouns, it explains to you what a noun is, gives you examples as the teacher. So you know, I've also introduced, if you look at the language arts portion of the website, I also have some great books, some great library resources in there. So this is that, right? And then you look over, and this is super cool. So this is like 15 minutes a day. This is level 1. So it's got 30 weeks of lessons. And like I said, it starts very simply. You need to read it. 1 vocabulary, 2 nouns, mark it, fix it, 1 capital, 1 member, and then you rewrite it. So did you ever hear the story of 3 poor soldiers? So you have to underline things like that. So like the answer would be, so this is what, I know, I have a scab on my finger, but did you ever hear the story of 3 poor soldiers? So did you ever hear the story of 3 poor soldiers? Okay, so poor, it's got the definition, lacking of sufficient money. I kind of wish they would put that in there, but, and then you rewrite it. So there you go, that's the answer to that, and it goes through, you got about 1 lesson a day, about 1, I want to say 1 page a day, but anyway, and it's, so there you go. There are other alternatives for different grammar programs. That's just one if you get older. But if you want to start like a grammar when they're young, you can do, I like the one from Guest Hollow. Guest Hollow, because they have a story that goes along with it. So it's very story oriented and it's not much money, so you can do that. But there's a lot of different grammar programs out there, I guess, but that is, that's one of my favorites. So anyway, that's your video today. Tune in tomorrow because I have more products. Tomorrow I got makeup, I got fun products. And yeah, we'll talk to you then. Okay, bye-bye.
Please like and subscribe.
Yes.
And hit the bell for notifications.